Alright, hello everyone, it's Silver Kyle here, and today I'm going to be talking about all the video games that are coming out this fall season because as we all know, the fall season is the busiest time for video games, and that's usually when the bigger titles are released. I did a similar video last year, and I just have to say that last year, 2011, was one of the best years in gaming history, I find. There's just so many big titles released, especially during the fall season. You know, it was kind of like the year of 3 where they had Gears of War 3, Resistance 3, Uncharted 3, Battlefield 3. They had other big titles like Skyrim, Skyward Sword, Mario Kart 7, Batman Arkham City. Just so many big titles were released last year. And I think that that's part of the reason why there aren't as many this year, because it does take a few years to work on a game. So if so many big titles were released last year, it'll take those developers another few years to come up with their next game. And also I just think that this is the end of this generation of consoles. You know, the Wii U is starting the next gen later this year, and I just really think that it's starting to show that, you know, other developers are working on future releases for later down the road. So anyway, let's start it off because there are still quite a few games that I'm interested in, and there's still quite a lot of games here. So there's nothing for the first 2 weeks because there's basically nothing to talk about, and I also wanted to find out what games were coming out for the Wii U or having a better idea of what was going to be released this year. Starting tomorrow, September 16th, is Kirby's 20th anniversary. It's crazy that Kirby's already 20 years old. It's basically going to be a collection of games starting with the first Kirby game up until the 64 game. And there's quite a few releases in there, including the Game Boy games, so nice collection there. Then they have Borderlands 2, which is a multi-platform game, and I think that this is the biggest game for September, and probably the biggest first-person shooter, up until November. There's a few other FPS games coming out in October, but I don't think they'll be even close to Borderlands 2. I really think this is going to be one of the biggest games of this year. And I don't think that it would be the same, like, if it would have been released last year, I think it would have been not lost in the shuffle, but it wouldn't have been as big. It's just that there's not as many games this year, and I'm not knocking Borderlands 2 at all, because I'm really anticipating the game. But it's just, I don't think it would have been as big last year, whereas this year there's not a lot of competition, especially in September. So anyway, enough about that little rant. There's Street Fighter, the 25th Anniversary Collection, also coming out on the 18th, and that's just, you know, once again, another collection of games. It's going to be $150 though, and that's quite steep for a collection. It's an awesome collection, but it's quite expensive. Then they have Little Big Planet the following week on the 25th for the Vita, but I heard something that you can already pick up and play Little Big Planet for the Vita. I'm not sure about that, but as far as I looked into it a little bit, but it still says release date for the 25th, so I'm just going with that. And then October starts, and the biggest release is coming for that month is coming out right at the beginning, Resident Evil 6. Now I think Resident Evil 6 is just going to be the biggest game for October, and you know, it could rival Borderlands as well, but it's not a first-person shooter, it's a third-person shooter, so it's kind of different, but I think that those will be the biggest releases during the first 2 months of the fall season, basically. And then the following week they have a slew of games: XCOM, Enemy Unknown, Multiplat, Code of Princess for the 3DS, which I'm really looking forward to. It's like a 2D side-scroller, or I guess a 3D because it's the 3DS, side-scroller game that's like a fighting game type of thing. Not a fighting game, like a hack and slash almost, but on a platformer type thing. And it looks really, really fun, and it's being published by Atlas, so I'm definitely going to be picking that up. They also have a Spy Hunter for the Vita and 3DS, okay. And then Dishonored, which is multiplat, and that's kind of like I don't know, it looks like a stealth type of game, kind of like a Splinter Cell, almost, but kind of different because it looks like it's set in an older time. Anyway, then the following week they have Ragnarok Odyssey. That's coming out for the Vita, and that's an adventure RPG, and I am just so excited for this game. So basically, during the first 2 weeks I'm going to be getting Code of Princess and Ragnarok Odyssey, and I just cannot wait for those games. They also have Doom 3 BFG edition coming out that day. I guess it's like just a new edition for the consoles this year, this generation of consoles, and also James Bond 007 Legends. Those games, I think they'll do okay, but I don't know exactly how well they'll be doing. I'm quite excited for Doom 3, and 007, I just really haven't cared ever since GoldenEye was like the only really big 007 game, but Legends, I might take a peek, but I'm definitely not going to be picking that up day one. And then they also have Skylanders Giants multi-plat. It looks interesting, you know. It's a completely different Skylander that we're used to, but it seems to take it in at least an interesting version as opposed to like Crash Bandicoot, who has just gone to complete crap over the past few years. Whereas this is a new take on Skylander, Spyro basically. It looks interesting anyway. And then one of my most anticipated games of the year, coming out for the 3DS, Harvest Moon: A New Beginning. Seriously, I love those games. I still haven't beat the Tale of Two Towns though, which was the first 3DS game, but this is a Tale of Two Towns was also released on the DS, whereas this one is worked from the ground up, only made for the 3DS. So it's completely made for the 3DS, which is exciting. They also have the Killzone trilogy on the PS3 being released, like a collection of them. And then they have Forza Horizon, one of the few exclusive games coming out on the 360. I'm not really big into racing games, but that's Forza. And Medal of Honor Warfighter, multi-platform. I have not played a Medal of Honor game in so long, but here's hoping that this one's good. Then they have the following week. They have Professor Layton and the Miracle Mask, the first 3DS Professor Layton game. That's coming out on the 28th. And then on the 30th, the actual Tuesday, because Nintendo, for whatever, releases games on Sundays, whatever. So then on the Tuesday, they have Assassin's Creed 3 multi-platform, Assassin's Creed 3 Liberation, which is coming out on the Vita, which is kind of like a tie-in to that game. WWE 13 multi-platform, and Lego Lord of the Rings multi-platform again, and Need for Speed Wanted multi-platform, all coming out on the 30th. That's just a crazy amount of games during that time. I don't know, there's so many games there that I want, but I'm probably only going to pick one, and I might not even be able to pick something then because the Wii U's coming not too long after that. So, geez, that's going to be a hard week to pick what I want. Then they start November with Little Big Planet Karting. That's coming out on the 6th, same day as Halo 4, which that's one of my most anticipated games of the year. I love Halo, and I just cannot wait to see what Master Chief has been up to since Halo 3. Basically, he's been asleep during that entire time, but I want to see what he's going to do once he wakes up again. And then and also the multiplayer. I love the Halo multiplayer. Just, it's so good. And then on the 11th, which is a Sunday, they have Paper Mario Sticker Star for the 3DS. The stickers are kind of weird for the Paper Mario type stuff. It looks interesting, but it seems quite weird, and I don't know how I'm gonna like that. Then they also have Call of Duty Black Ops 2, probably the biggest shooter. It'll probably be bigger than Halo 4 actually, and Borderlands 2, and Resistance, not Resistance, Resident Evil 6, just because Call of Duty always does so well. Although I will say that Black Ops I do enjoy so much more than Modern Warfare 3. Modern Warfare 3, I'm playing it a lot nowadays, but it's not even close. The maps and the spawns, I find, you just spawn in random places and you're so close to your enemy, and it's like, I don't find it fair. So anyway, let's keep going. They also have, apparently, Call of Duty Black Ops Declassified for the Vita is coming out on that day as well, and that's quite exciting. I'm definitely wanting to see how well Call of Duty will be on the Vita, and to see if I can actually play good shooters on the Vita type of thing, and how well it plays. So that's it for that week. And then they have on the 16th, Castlevania Lords of Shadow Mirror of Fate for the 3DS. And then they have Disney Epic Mickey Power of Illusion for the 3DS as well. And that's like a 2D or 3D, I guess, side scroller, once again with Mickey, and it looks really fun. There's also Epic Mickey 2, but I'm not even as excited for that one. I'm really more excited for the 3DS version, side-scrolling version of the Mickey game. I don't know why. It seems like a Super Nintendo type of game on the 3DS. If you look at it, it looks so much like that, and I just get so much nostalgia, and I just really want to see that game. And then, of course, we have the Wii U. So I'll just go with the games that we know are coming out for that launch date. And there's one other game there's a few games that are rumored to be on launch date, and there's confirmed games. So the confirmed games that I want that are coming out on the Wii U that I'm interested in are New Super Mario Bros. U, Nintendo Land, Tank Tank Tank, Zombie U, and Epic Mickey 2. Epic Mickey is also multi-plat, but it's also coming out for the Wii U, and if I did pick it up, it would be for the Wii U. And then, rumored is Marvel Avengers Battle for Earth. Now, this is a different type of game. It's also coming out for the Kinect. And I would prefer it on the Wii U because I really don't care for the Kinect. But it's like a first-person game where you play as Iron Man and you just see his hands, or you play as Thor and you have his hammer, or Hulk and you just have his fists. And it just looks like a really different take on superhero games. I would much prefer like an actual like adventure type game, but that seems really, really interesting and new for the Avengers game. So I'm quite interested in that, and I will be picking up a few games for the Wii U. I'm just not sure 100% yet which games I will be picking up. Although Tank Tank Tank, it doesn't interest me that much, but it is one of the few multiplayer games, and a lot of people say that it is very fun and arcadey. So that's why I'm kind of interested in that game. So anyway, then they have on the 20th, although I don't think I'll even be able to pick up any games. I really want to pick up PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale on the 20th, but if I'm getting the Wii U on the 18th and getting a few games, I will not be able to play that game and give it enough time. I will be picking up it eventually though, that I'm sure of, just probably not that week. And it really sucks with PlayStation All-Stars. They were supposed to actually come out in October, late October, but for whatever reason they had to push it back to the 20th, and it's like, oh, you couldn't have picked a worse time to be released, honestly. Right after the Wii U, 2 days after the Wii U. That's horrible, horrible timing, and I feel really bad for Sony and whoever the developer is of that game. Maybe it is Sony, I don't know, whatever their development team is. I feel for them, I really do. And then they have Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing Transformed, also being released on the Wii U and possibly being released on that day as well. And Hitman Absolution, multi-platform, and Persona 4 Golden on the Vita, which is, you know, Persona 4 came out on the PS2, one of the best RPGs apparently that came out in the last few years, and it's being ported over to the Vita, and I guess it's like an Ultimate Edition because it says Golden at the end there. And then the last game that's confirmed for December is Far Cry 3 on the 4th of December. So that's basically it. Still quite a lot of games. I have to say though that the 30th, there's so many games coming out on that day. Crazy. Assassin's Creed 3, Liberation, WWE 13, Lord of the Rings, Lego, Need for Speed Most Wanted. Not huge. Well, Assassin's Creed 3 is huge, but everything else is just, they're big games, but just not huge. It's just a lot of games coming out that day. And then obviously, you know, the Wii U, everything's coming out on the 18th, and then the 20th there's still a bunch of games, and it's like I feel bad for those games that are coming out on the 20th. So anyway, I'll go through games that I'm sure I'm going to be getting. Coda Princess for the 3DS on the 9th of October, definitely picking that up. Ragnarok Odyssey on the Vita, definitely picking that up. Halo 4, definitely picking that up. Call of Duty Black Ops 2, definitely picking that up. Nintendo Land, obviously picking that up. New Super Mario Bros. U, I just mumbled there. Definitely picking that up. And then I'm not sure for the other Wii U games. And then I would like to pick up Borderlands 2, but I haven't played the first. And Resident Evil 6, I haven't played the fifth, and I feel that that would just be wrong to jump into that. I'm very much anticipating this game, but I want to go through and kind of play all the Resident Evils because it's been so long since I played the first ones on the PlayStation 1, and I just want to play those again. I don't know, it's like an OCD type of thing that I have to play the first one. So anyway, that's all the fall games. Let me know what you are excited for and what you are planning to pick up, but oh man, that Wii U is just going to stop a lot of games from being bought, I think anyway. So I'll talk to y'all later, everyone.